in Gambit and when he himself felt very unsuccessful. However, he was held by his team having 2 pushing lanes here, like the bans here from ANX, by the way. Sivir, probably another Jhin ban coming up, and then the first pick Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously do not like dealing with that Sivir. They're trying to take it away because H2K was able to have a successful bot lane with no bot side pressure, right? We did not have to see Lee Sin down there at all.
Yeah, no Jhin ban, obviously, because Forgiven doesn't play it, but it should be the first pick Caitlyn if the stars align, especially since H2K have shown that they don't care too much about the Syndra. So this should be a reply here where H2K probably want an early Zyra again, and they need to find another answer here. What has Forgiven picked up that he can lane into Caitlyn?
I would really like to see that Zyra taken away because I think that giving Lecrit that kind of comfort pick, something that's really strong in the meta and that he's really strong on, could be a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Steos is going to do with the Olaf across off the board. Is stealing the Lee Sin worth it for H2K here? I'm doubting because I feel like Steos could just play the Elise.
Yeah, he could just play the Elise, and he always does have Graves as that kind of comfort pick to fall back on. It's not huge in the meta right now, but this guy loves to play it.
Within the world's metagame, Zyra Syndra would be the ideal rotation here, but I wonder if they change their opinion. Maybe just go for another Jace. It went fine last game.
I mean, they can flex it as well. Odo going to flash some Rammus for a bit of style, but the Zyra is already locked in there for H2K, so we'll see what they pair it with. And once again, they'll pick Jace, likely for Odo 1 there.
And I feel like they just think that they have a strong laning advantage in this top lane. So give this guy the advantageous lane matchup. Allow him the ability to try to snowball and take it over. It worked in game 1. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, but definitely go in with the mindset that it won't be as easy as it was before. Odwamne made a few tiny mistakes overextending in late game. But again, I'm not going to blame that as a lack of awareness from H2K. I think they just bought into the fact that they were so far ahead that they could play a more relaxed style of League of Legends. But definitely the lack of Syndra priority confuses me, and I wonder if it's going to change in this series. Once the games get closer, Syndra can really dominate these teamfights.
Certainly can, and I think that although Vladimir is up as that safe lane pick, we talked about it again, it doesn't actually deal with the pick in the rest of the game. It only survives lane.
It survives lane, but gets pushed in, which means Syndra can roam, and that can cause like a cascading effect where the card house starts falling down. Because Syndra leaving lane can influence those winning lanes. Winning lanes push up, Syndra gets behind, 2 kills, it's over.
Well, you can see Elise and Na there for ANX, so Steos kind of taking the pick we expected him to here, and Nerf going to go back to a lane that he probably feels comfortable with. Forgiven will have to go to Lucian with 2 AD carries taken away, and Jankos, if it ain't broke, no need to fix it, going to take Lee Sin again.
And I think that the Lucian, it is a very strong lane, and if you can catch people in these Zyra routes, you can get very good trades, very aggressive trades. But if it's just a straight up standard lane, you can get bullied in, and it's going to be Alistar Caitlyn. This is something that has been very popular in the world's meta, the headbutt pulverize combo into the traps. But the problem becomes, if you just chill in a 2v2 in lane, you're going to get smashed by the Zyra.
Yeah, you get smashed, but there's always the threat of a Q flashing to knock backwards, especially since he'll be sporting the Ignite. The plan is quite simple for ANX. They want lanes that can be influenced on every lane by their jungler and their support, so they want to get some sense of pushing threat in the mid lane. It could be the Aurelion Sol, it can also be the Syndra. So likely to push in either matchup, then the Syndra can leave, start influencing a very, honestly, tippy matchup in the top lane. Narkin can get ahead of a Jace, and when he does, it's very hard for Jace to strike back. Combine that with jungle pressure, the early game will be a good indicator of how this game is going to go.
If the Gnar gets ahead of the Jace, especially in combination with the Elise, that's one of the easiest dives in the game as far as a 2v1. So Odoamne is going to have to show respect there. Will be Vladimir locked in again. Repeat of the last matchup.
Yeah, this will be much harder for H2K's bot lane again. Yes, they could get push advantage, but they're playing double very short-range champions into an Alistar that can get ganks from an Elise. It's very hard to continuously play forward and avoid ganks at the same time, especially when your mid laner does not have the priority.
We do have to remember, though, that Lecrit has to have the confidence to make those plays, has to be moving around the map, getting stuff done, because if you sit back, if you just play it passively, Zyra will harass you out of lane. They will get massive advantages in that way, so you must pull the trigger, make stuff happen.
And it's just very few changes, really, for H2K. Every pick is the same, except for Forgiven, who did have to change to another short-range AD carry and Lucian. I feel like ANX have shifted a couple of things, not too much, but they've kind of put the power where they want it to be. Liquid, big playmaker on the Alistar, and Steos on a much more aggressive gank-heavy jungler with Elise.
But if I look at just the draft, I almost want to say that ANX clearly won it.
Well, Coach is going to shake hands. Wonder what they think. Guess we'll find out as we get ourselves onto the roof. Don't forget, though, to join the conversation on Twitter and share your favorite moments from Worlds 2016 using the hashtag World Big Plays, and you can continue getting your team hashtags rolling out there as well. ANX have a lot of fans out there in the world right now. We've heard them here in the crowd, we've heard them out there online, but H2K maybe silencing some of that with that very crisp game one.
I think they definitely did. In ANX, you have to feel like they need to strike back here in game number 2. If you go down 2-0 against H2K, the reverse sweep is going to be really tough to pull off.
Well, that's technically the only way you can reverse sweep, though.
There you go. That's why I'm saying you don't want to get into that reverse sweep situation.
That's true.
Got tied up, Crepo.
Up.
Keep up, keep up.
Gotta go back to European style, you know, get those ties out.
Yeah. H2K has the experience there, so I don't know if it goes to a tie, you know, they got the advantage.
More than enough ties on the caster desk. Thank you very much. As we are out onto the Rift, you can hear the crowd once again cheering for Albus Nox Luna. We have swap sides around, and we'll see if Miracle and Licorice can maybe get a bit more leverage here. And just in general, ANX, they kind of pick themselves the right tools to get stuff done. See if they can get more of their early game done this time.
Yeah, and last game we saw 2 of the most important concepts of, honestly, the first 5 minutes in League of Legends come to fruition. It is information sharing, and especially in terms of leashes. The fake leash in the top lane had a completely surprising effect there when Steos found Jankos, and then also the importance of early lane push in the bot lane. And H2K seem very set on getting that one again, but we see a different approach here from ANX. Wanting to punish maybe Vander when he goes for a ward. I really hope for their sake that they don't commit to another camp here. Alistar plus Krugs really isn't good for this lane matchup for a multitude of reasons. I'm not going to delve into it too much because then people start snoozing. But we'll definitely see a fight for the push here early.
Yeah, and I think that they aren't going to go for that. I think they realized their mistake from last time. They've worded out that Zyra is hanging out here. They know they don't want to give up that early push, and I think with that early Relic Shield, you can easily get that push going for yourself.
Ooh, I wonder if they actually let Forgiven walk in and go for the freeze and then kind of stomp him from out of brush, because that's what he did the last game. He walked into the lane to get the mini freeze, but technically if they're in the brush, there's a chance. There's so many like what ifs that could happen. Let's just find out what happens.
Well, here we are in the bottom lane. Forgiven actually hanging back pretty far. Kira and Ryu will go back into the same matchup here. See if Kira can have a bit more success early on. Nice little Thunderlord's proc there, getting some damage down. And I guess the other change early on is that the junglers will be starting on the same side of the map this time around as well. So no tricks this time from ANX, but we'll see if they get more aggressive down towards that bottom side or not.
Yeah, certainly no tricks just yet with that, but there can always be adjustments as far as pathing go. There's ways that you can kind of mix it up.
Trap start by a Miracle here is peculiar to say the least. H2K get the push again. They were definitely looking for some queso right there.
Yeah, they were. I think the only thing that you could say is they're hoping that Forgiven goes to that freeze.
Yeah.
You Q flash, you trap him out of that, you get first blood.
Plus
that was
minion
what they were
aggro.
looking for. But that said, you still shouldn't have leveled up your trap until that happens.
Yeah, you should wait with skilling. You saw the ward on your screen as well in the second brush. It was placed at basically 150 by Vander, spotted out the trap that ANX has set up, and then H2K played it perfectly, you know, calmly just poking out, getting control, pushing as just the margin as fast as they need. You don't want to overpush. You want to deny as many minions and make it an awkward wave that hits a turret, and that's how they want to get a CF advantage. Now Smurf, or Liquid rather, is level 2. That's the threat of an all-in with Alistar. That's what H2K need to play around, but still, they're in such a control position.
They certainly are, and it's not the start that the ANX bot lane was hoping for, but obviously a couple minions, not that big of a deal.
We'll see if they keep growing here. Is Kira and Ryu doing battle. Kira burning a lot of that mana pool, but does chunk Ryu down pretty nicely. Vlad is particularly vulnerable in the early levels, but Kira, see if you can, again, affect those side lanes a little more now that he is getting those pushes going.
Yeah, much different approach here from the first game. We see
Got him.
both junglers got a leash from their top laners, and they're pathing down to at least get river control. Really good Scuttle Crab contestation there as well. Getting the Scuttle Crab means a lot for these teams. We're going to see if there's some more priority coming out from the junglers.
You can see Jankos is actually a camp or two full ahead because Steos was kind of not doing that hard clear. He was hanging around, looking to see if he could find anybody. He wasn't able to, and as a result, Jankos is going to be first to kind of make a move here, perhaps in the mid lane.
Yeah, he put a ward near the Scuttle Crab, but didn't want to waste time
Looking.
doing it. He's going for Kira here, who's low on mana. Kira smartly going to the right side. The little game that Jankos is playing that we can follow too, he walked into River. He didn't want to waste time taking the Scuttle Crab, so he places a ward that could potentially spot Steos if he goes to check for it, and then Jankos just keeps power clearing, going for an efficient gank in the mid lane here, trying to accelerate the game, leaving his bot lane slightly exposed, but they bounced the wave. Look at Forgiven and Vandernaut too. They're much safer. They're respecting the threat of an Olaf, of a Elise gank with an Alistar with Flash early on, so H2K very much so playing as a unit.
Feels like one of our big questions for H2K's bottom lane in particular was, can they deviate from their style? Well, not really. They always want to play the same way, but they can adapt within that mode, it feels like.
Definitely, we see a different H2K here. Given and Vander are not mindlessly pushing up. They say, you know what, at least start at top side. We don't know where he is. We're playing against a guy that loves to pull the trigger on the flash. They'll just back out. They will take some poke here, and they will buy into the range disadvantage that Kalen has over Lucian.
Oh, hello. Straight in onto Forgiven. Licorice not quite clear enough to cleanly combo out, but I love the aggression.
I actually like it myself too. Trade a little bit of your health and mana, get Forgiven into an uncomfortable position, but they're actually just going to take this time, it looks like, to fully base, and at least just on Licorice. Interesting.
Yeah, they want to send him back. Just get some
He's going
strength.
topside.
Because you want
he
can roam, and but the reason you don't want to base right there is because it's too easy of a bounce there for Forgiven and Vander, and a Miracle can actually farm on the turret if this wave gets shoved in. The reaction when people base is usually to go fast shove, so he's just going to pick up those minions under the turret.
And this is going to be super unexpected. This was an early base from Licorice. I don't think Odoamne is going to be expecting this guy to be topside, but that said, he doesn't even have boots. It's taking him forever to get up here, and they're actually pinging the possibility of him being up here now, so he's wasting so much time just kind of wandering around the map.
Because this is a play you see very often in scrims where supports on first base try to influence other lanes because of the nature of the play. It's so unpredictable.
Feels like the right play, but no rewards there for Licorice. Unfortunately, Odo actually completes his base. Now with double Dorans and 2 longswords, not the same lead nearly that he had at this time around in game number 1, but is actually still playing and should continue to be aggressive. Smurfer, to his credit, stabilizing the lane much better here.
Yeah, Kira, once he hits 6 there and he has the lost chapter and he gets his next blue buff, that's the breaking point in the early game. That's when Ryu's going to start eating too many orbs that he can't really dodge, and he's going to lose the lane pressure. And you see if Kira can then roam, because if H2K get pushed in bot lane, nothing's preventing them to get Dole 4v2 here. That's definitely something they need to keep track of.
Yeah, not at all, especially because the Zyra is so squishy. If you hit any sort of CC on this Zyra, she's dead to a Syndra roam. So that's something they're always going to have to be aware of. You also have to track the fact that it's Cocoon, it's a combo from Alistar, and we have traps plus the Syndra stun. Those are 4 forms of CC that are easily there.
Odoamne back in again, but good trade onto Smurf. Smurf's actually
wants
going to
it.
hop back in and trade back. Not too bad there, but Yankos was roaming up as well. Steos is on this side of the map, but he might lose a camp here. Good ward.
Level advantage.
Going to spot him, but he wants it. Oh my god, he's a genius. Swoops in, does get the camp, and now what does he get? He forces a flash. Yankos, great heads-up play.
Steos actually had his smite. He could have just smited that. I don't know if he was looking somewhere else on the map. That's the only thing I can think.
Oh, your Smurf's going in for the
See ya.
1v2. That's under the assumption that it was smiteable. Maybe it was the level difference. Yankos had a slightly better smite. Maybe they were running the numbers. We'd have to go check back. In the end, it doesn't really matter too much. Yankos went in for the aggressive play, got the flash, got the Grom steal, and is definitely full level head right now, it seems, of his opponent.
Confidence from Smurf though. Does go in, look for something, but isn't going to find it. And Steos just going to move back to that bottom side. Ryu actually going back. Does have that Spectre's Cow, so things should get better in his 1v1 matchup.
And with Steos actually moving to the bot side here, and H2K so far up, they're going to have to be careful. They actually have no vision whatsoever. Steos is going to get behind them. We'll see where the Colonel go.
Oh, Forgiven now going to get comboed in by the crit. Forgiven trying to dash out of the way, but here comes Elise as well. Vander now has to move out of the way to get
TP coming in from Odoamne.
Spiderling going to move back in, looking for Forgiven. Exhaust is down, and they're trying to kite it out. Odo finally makes it in, and ANX just don't have enough. Kira is finally going to make it, but Odo gets first blood again! As H2K are going to try and book it. The ulti's there from Kira, but it's not enough to take out Odo, and now he's going to slay. Odo finally goes down, but Yankos goes back in. Got no kick. Ryu in here with a massive 4-man Hemo flank. Flash tight the bot, looking for a little bit more, but Kira going to stun him up again. Licorice does go down to Yankos on the other side of the fight. It's a disaster. Smurf turns it around. Strangleborn's going to knock him up, and he goes down as well. It's just not enough to save anyone.
And ANX is just completely not on the same page there. As they're going forward, a Miracle is running away. Smurf TP'd in way too late, and that was just a tragedy for ANX. This game has already gone pear-shaped.
What a massacre here for H2K. They get 4 kills to 1. Steos has to steal this dragon, but there's no way for him to get into the pit. No flash, he can repel up. Doesn't have the range to reach it. He's trying to find out how low this dragon exactly is. As he curves around the corner, it's down. They bought into that play so much. It was the right idea. Gank the bot lane, but Forgiven respected the play enough He held enough range here, not getting into Q flash range ever, which meant Liquid had to expend this flash, which means no dash backwards.
But watch a miracle here. He just turns around. He's not even getting involved. The TP comes in. He's like, all right, we're out. The rest of his team is all in. Where's the TP coming in from Smurf? That is like a full 5 seconds late after Odoamne. They're just not on the same page at all. And if Smurf TP'd in first, I think they win this fight.
Definitely, if the Gage is a coordinated effort here with the TP. Miracle, that was his first auto attack in over 10 seconds, it feels like. Yep, definitely great job pointing that one out, and that's honestly the change for this fight. If you are the team setting up the play, you gotta commit. You gotta throw all your resources at it, especially when you have a role play like the Syndra. Definitely a big weakness here for ANX, not using the pattern of plays that we've seen in so many games. Syndra push up, roam down, jungler comes with you, teleport, just completely annihilate bot lane and then get the turret.
And Jankos this time is the slacker. The first time he has not participated in a first blood here at Worlds for H2K. Odo, though, keeps his perfect record for the series. Does get it again.
Ooh, he does get involved in 3 kills right after it, though, so not too bad. We'll give him a free pass on this one.
Maybe it was close enough. Still counts.
He's like, I'm in range, it's fine. I basically count. Well, once again, H2K have jumped out to a 2,000 gold lead here. 10.5 minutes in, and ANX, I love what they tried there, but now H2K, with pressure, with momentum, we see what they can get done. This is Odo just going back in, and Smurf just can't do much of anything.
Oh, it's like you're going to get some PTSD here if you're Smurf, and Jankos is coming. This could be that 2v2 turned around.
Not quite what they wanted it to be. Odo's going to look for it again. Smurf hops his way out, but here comes Jankos again. Kick after the Q. Jankos takes down another.
And it's those little things, applying the Q before the R here. Jankos tanking the turret.
Oh my goodness!
Flashback to last game. Odoamne is fed. Up 30 plus CS. He's going to be working on this turret. Smurf has no teleport. This turret is going down. And Odoamne, once again, monstrous lead in the top lane.
He's smashing some kids right now. It's honestly dirty how far this Jason's head in 2 games in a row. They had the right reactions in the bot lane. Part of me wonders what happens when that play of ANX is executed perfectly. That is something that hopefully H2K take home, but they are reacting so well in the moment, and especially the point that Azale brought up earlier, the innate jungler top lane synergy, it's there, because you can see it. Jankos was reacting to Odoamne holding back. Odoamne holds back, which means Jankos can tank the turret, which means they can chase out perfectly. No chance for turnaround right there. Very cleanly executed play.
Even in the earlier play there, Odoamne has the faith in and communication with his jungler to know he can turn around at the right time, forcing Smurf back, allowing him to have a 2v1.
Kira actually looking again, but he's got no mana. Now going to get chased down. Jankos lines up another Q, but goes spot by Kira, keeps him safe.
And they respect the fog of war. It's a game of low percentage plays, especially when you are 4,000 gold ahead already. You don't need to over chase. Very calm and collected.
Dog gets him into the wall, carries him all the way, but Miracle taking damage. Stale looks for the flash cocoon and misses. H2K's bottom lane get away again.
That was so well played by Forgiven. Instead of trying to hit the Alistar, he pushes back the Caitlyn, keeping his support safe.
Oh, so well played by Vander. He had a flash and he never got afraid, especially since this 80 carry still at heal. Both, yeah, give credit to supports, Azale. No, definitely well played by both. They know that they're not in threat of danger. They know exactly where the jungler is. He didn't even panic flash that cocoon. H2K seemed so in control of the game, really. And this is such a stark contrast, because in the middle of the split, their communication was so erratic. It was in heat of the moment. They could never back out from place. Once H2K started going, they kept going. Everyone was just yelling, go, go, go. And now Vander misses.
Ooh, again, looking for Vander. Maybe a little squishy this time. Headshot's not enough. The exhaust keeps him alive, but Lucro wanted. He's trying to trample all the way down in the plants. But Vander gets away with it, burns all the summoners to do so.
And look how much time Steos has spent on the bot side of the map trying to force something, trying to make something happen. All this time, Jankos is getting further ahead. He's up 20 CS in the jungle too. He is being very efficient, and Steos is feeling the pressure. Feels like, I have to help this lane out.
Another 2v3 bot lane for H2K.
Oh, Ryu stunned again, but Kira again. Not enough mana here versus that Spirit Visage to really do anything.
That's the nature of this matchup. You need to get ahead in the Syndra versus Vladimir before this point, before Spirit Visage. If not, Ryu, especially when he has a jungler and vision around him, can start playing aggressive. And look, Odoamne pathed it down, ready for the dive.
Yep, exactly, and that's the advantage he has gained from this massive topside lead.
Dive again. Ryu should have all the tools to do so. No ultimate, but that's going to be okay. Miracle's actually the one getting dove. Tango's going to kick him in the face. Forgiven just cleans up one last auto as ANX commit the TP, then cancel it. As Odo's backing onto Kira, knocks him back. The stun's not bad. Kira flashes out of the way, but H2K take over that mid lane.
H2K are just striking on all sides of the map, and Smurf, there's nothing he could do with that TP. His AD carry is already long dead.
And I just love watching greatly Synth players. They could approach hoping to save their flash if they just kick, but they know if the enemy has flash, he's waiting for that exact pattern.
Oh no. Hero, that's enough to the sky. Just crushes down on his head.
Slam dunk for Odawam,
Oh,
and he
no,
wants
again.
more.
PvP stay off caught up this time. Repels back down, but Odo looking for it again. The Hemoplex enough for you. Just takes him down, and now the crit. He's going to come into the blender. Odawamne looking to fire more shots in, but Flicker keeps his life alive. H2K going to claim the mid-outer, 3 turrets to nothing, and a gigantic gold lead.
It's getting tough to watch here as ANX is just losing on all sides of the map. They just don't seem to be able to keep up, and this is H2K in rare form. They are playing an immaculate game of League of Legends.
Yeah, they're punishing Albus Nox Luna. It's the nature of a team that comes in with a lot of surprises in terms of gameplay and picks.
It just feels like
again.
Odawamne can do no wrong.
Yeah, it's too easy right now for him. We need to put hard mode on, put some of those ultimate buffs in the game, to dodge everything. But no, this is also, it's part of the trajectory for ANX. You come into a tournament and you are a wild card in the little sense of the word, where nobody knows what to expect and you get surprised. But the farther you go into the tournament, and the more you kind of start screaming these teams as well, the more you get found out and honestly downloaded, and that's what H2K is doing. They're completely outplaying ANX across the board.
Yeah, ANX talked about how after that week 1 win, they started getting all those scrim partners. And yes, that's great practice and you can improve, but they lost the element of surprise kind of by starting to practice with these teams. And they even talked about the fact that they had practiced specifically with H2K.
Let's kind of wrap it all together. We have seen some perfectly good, solid, standard play from ANX as well. They're not just, you know, a team that plays only chaotic and that's it. And we saw the execution that could have been in this game and the last game, but they're just not quite on the same level as H2K right now, and that's costing them in so many of these early games.
But they're going up against a team that has players that have hit critical mass in terms of tournament form. Odawamne is playing amongst the best top laners in the tournament. He's being praised by his peers as well. We have Forgiven, who is a great AD carry, who finally has shown more flexibility in style as well. He's not with Vander just mindlessly pushing up here. He's actually baiting ganks, forcing Stayos to stay around for so long. As a unit, H2K is using all that information and punishing Albus Nox Luna. So it's finally all tying together, and that's what was missing for so long for H2K.
It really is, and it has to be a bit frustrating for ANX because both last game with the 2v2 top lane and this game with the party in the bot lane, if they had executed a little bit better, they could be the ones with the massive lead. They could be the ones snowballing the game, but instead, it's H2K astronomically ahead once again.
And credit to H2K, they're not only good at getting early leads, but they snowball almost harder than any other team in the tournament. They are on an absolute tear. Don't forget, they're 5-0 right now as far as overall wins go. This could be their 6th straight Worlds win in a row.
Yeah, their gold progression in the games is honestly fantastic to watch. Give them a little bit to take so much more. When the Dragon goes down here, there was some questions in their closing ability last game, but shouldn't look into it too much. They have another chance to prove that they can cleanly close with a large gold advantage. But still, even if they do it sloppily, they're setting themselves up to be 2-0 in a quarterfinal. Honestly, something not expected for H2K coming into the tournament.
Well, you can see right now, Smurf is trying something cute here, but Forgiven once again playing with a lot of respect and restraint. We'll just let Miracle farm up here.
And it's like Repo talked about earlier, respect Fog of War.
Yeah.
Until you see that Gnar somewhere else, give him the respect that he's in that bush.
Especially when the map is so tiny. You could run out of options, you know, where could he be? He could be standing behind his tier 1 turret, that's about it. If he's not there, well, then he has to be somewhere in the bot lane trying to cheese you. And H2K completely choke out vision. Again, they want a 1-1-3 or 1-3-1. Just put the Forgiven near the most vulnerable turret here, Ryu. Put him in the long side lane, he can duel. Especially since his Gnar is itemizing armor too. Against the Vladimir, he's just gonna get put into the dumpster.
Well,
all these little things.
Been a lot of what the lanes have looked like, unfortunately. ANX have certainly struggled versus some strong opponents on H2K. Odawamne once again was off to a flying start, but it's been a little less chaotic than the game before. H2K, regardless, is still up almost 10,000 gold at under 20 minutes.
And it's also so hard to judge these drafts, and you know, because you look at the draft and I'm like, ANX won this, you know. If they do X and Y, they can outplay it, but maybe we're overlooking something, or maybe just H2K is such a great team. It's so hard to then get an accurate assessment of these picks. Also for H2K, if they go to the next round here in semifinals, hopefully they have the right context for some of these Syndra matchups, because if they play against a roaming mid laner that can get more influence, Definitely could be possible.
Well, you can see again, H2K are sticking with the aggression that they love. Black Cleaver second for Odoamne, Protobelt second once again for Ryu. This is the team that gets their lead, gets the right items to push it, and then just pushes really hard.
Exactly, and having these mid-game spikes, those 2-item spikes where these champions are at their strongest this early, makes it so they can put themselves in a position to really blow the game wide open with one more fight.
And see a bit of a basic here.
Surprise! Ooh,
The angle should be fine. Has kick still available.
Oh, good flash. Nah, gets a couple walls there as well. Kira, chains CC, and there's a pick for ANX.
Doesn't decide to pull the flash trigger. A lot of cooldowns used though. And that's what they were doing. H2K was building out their Baron vision. They had Odoamne in the bot lane, pushing up uncontested. They wanted to prep for a 20-minute Nashor.
Ooh, that's awkward.
A little bit unlucky there for Lecrit, but
Did he preempt that with a W, or was that just a straight Q flash?
It was I think he looked to headbutt and didn't hit the headbutt button on the target he wanted.
Yeah, no, he definitely flashed.
I think it was a flash Q looking for the headbutt after, but not quite connected there for Lecrit. We'll have a little check on that.
Yep,
But
still.
Odo is still just split pushing these side lanes.
Exactly, and ANX, once again, they know they need to make a play. They go for it. They layer the CC very well. The Lease followed up by that Gnar and the Syndra. They get a kill, and they start to fight back. They need to continuously look for these kind of picks and just claw their way slowly back into the game.
And honestly, it was just a straight-up whiff here for Liquid. And with Alistar, you can't afford to do that, especially now that the cooldown reduction boots kind of have been removed, or the summoner cooldown, the distortion, is no longer in the game. It was such a strong, powerful tool because Alistar could always go for these plays every 3 minutes. Right now, you're reduced to doing it every 4.5. So much vision right now for H2K as well. Look at how far back the trap line is for Caitlyn. That's generally an indicator of how far behind the team is on the vision game.
And he talked about it already. I just feel like ANX do need to make some plays, and those are the picks they want. Unfortunately, like we could see, it cost them so many cooldowns just to get one kill. Zara ulti's really blocking a lot of the party that they could be having as well. And H2K, a very speedy Baron start.
Yeah, they're going for the 2-man barrier here, showing their support and AD carry in the mid lane. They finish off mid wave, then rotate in here. They're kind of lucky Alistar was too afraid to peek around, but it is a smart strategy. ANX is going to expect the Baron to be started right now, but it's already on 4,000 HP.
Yeah, this is just going to be gone. It's going to be too little too late, and they're committing to it. The culling blown there from Forgiven is really smart. They're the ones pulling the sneaky Baron against ANX.
They've been spotted, but Ryu's just going to have to book it out. He pulls out of the way. He does have his flash, but won't have to expend it there. Don't forget Odoamne was still bottom lane without his teleport, so that was very well played.
And
by
now he has
H2K.
the Baron buff, which Smurf can't contend with. You know, he's not able to clear out that wave. They get the turret.
Part of me feels it's still so risky to go for that play,
Oh, this
though.
is very risky.
No teleport on your top laner. Liquid could have just walked in, warded, flash comboed, maybe turn it around.
Route roll.
So bold, but right now, if it pays off big.
Yeah, Liquid's like, yeah, get me out of here. Oh, the kick's not enough, but Odoamne might just go in anyway. Liquid almost about to get himself destroyed by a very fed Jace. But H2K instead, they'll group together in mid lane and try and shove down some more turrets with their very fresh Baron buff.
Good for Jace here. They're relatively short range, so they're susceptible to the QE here. But if they get hit and everybody forgets about Ryu, he's just going to 1v9 the team fights.
And Ryu was just zoning them off the side, even expending the ultimate to push them back, threaten that dive, and allows them to pick up more gold, get further and further ahead. And he's going in.
Ryu's in, looks for the Protobelt. Last few missiles do get him, and he's pulled his way out with style. Liquid, good 3-man pole. They need to follow up those strangleforms again. Gonna keep them out of the way. Liquid almost goes down, but has not enough damage.
And Vander playing a great defensive Zyra as well. 2-man snare. They're in the backline. Don't have enough range on the side of ANX to get to Ryu. That means Odoamne is uncontested in the bot lane.
This is part of the issue. Jace just doing so much work with his structures early on, particularly empowered by Baron. H2K can look for a bit of a greedy one here. Vander finds 2 with the Stranglethorns, but Stayos just goes down. Odo1, they know on a killing spree. Gnar finds 2. Well, it doesn't connect to Lecrit. He goes in again. It's a great pull, but it's just not enough. Forgiven takes out Smurf. There's the ace for H2K. They collect the body inhib, and they're not done.
Yeah, Albus knocks Luna playing whack-a-mole on hard mode. You solve one problem, but 2 more pop up. H2K is everywhere and just slaughtering them.
Oh, goodbye, Kira. There's the ace again for H2K. The next turrets are going to go down, and H2K will go up 2-0 in the quarterfinals.
23 minutes into the game, they close it out. We asked, can they close out the games with a lead? And I think that is a resounding yes, as H2K looks even better in game number 2.
What a complete smash here.
And we said, you know what? That Baron control, maybe looking a little iffy for H2K in game 1. You know how they solved it? They're like, 22-minute Baron, let's do it.
They pulled an ANX on ANX. That's how these guys won their games twice. They snuck the Baron to turn around games and take it over. They flip it right back on them.
The Albus Nox signature play turned around against them. Two-man Baron start. Every Baron play has a counter. There's always risk involved, but H2K very decisive in their approach. More importantly, they just got another big gold lead early. And again, protagonist in that one, Odoamne.
I mean, Odoamne is just having insane stats across the board. He's breaking his own records. And H2K actually broke another record here for this tournament. That is the fastest game at Worlds now at 23:38, I believe. And